Alright YouTube, so yesterday I made a vlog talking about the Star Wars original trilogy opening scenes explained Jones Beach style, and I really love filming that vlog, so I'm going to make another one related to Star Wars, but this time we'll be going in released order. We'll be talking about the Star Wars prequels and their opening scenes and my thoughts on them, as well as explaining them in the best of my ability. Starting with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So this opening is definitely a lot different, or at least a little different from the other openings, whether it's in the prequel trilogy or the original trilogy or even the sequel trilogy. And the reason I feel that is because the two characters who are technically the first characters shown in the Star Wars saga, you could argue, are two characters we never see again, but they're carrying two super important characters on their ship, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn, who are super cool characters in this movie, and they're there to settle in negotiations. Of course, we see a view of the galaxy and outer space in the very first opening scene of this opening scene, which was a very repetitive statement on my end. But this opening and the opening scenes, as well as the beginning of this movie, has a very eerie but cool vibe and feel to it, which is very similar and ominous of Darth Maul, who's a super eerie and cool villain. So I definitely think that works well, and I enjoy seeing Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon get their refreshments and talk about their potential negotiation with the Separatists. And of course, this movie kicks off 6 movies worth of galactic war. Now for number 2, we have Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which, thinking about it, this opening scene is kind of similar to Episode 1, as we see a starship blow up and, characters that were not super important or relevant to or super relevant to the story, but the lead actress, Padme, is on the ship, and of course, well, technically she's not on the ship, but they believe she's on the ship, and that was the intention, was an assassination attempt against her, and I really liked her in this movie. She was a super cool character, and I've looked up books about her character arc, which I'm looking forward to reading, as well as Star Wars Bounty Hunter books, but that's a vlog for another day. But I will say that the Padme decoy is coming down from the ship, and one of the captains says, "Oh, I guess they thought there was no danger after all." That's not word for word what he said, but something along those lines about how he figures there's no danger after all, and then moments after, boom, an explosion, and Padme's decoy realizes that Padme is under attack, and that leads to Anakin being her protector on Naboo and all that arc. And later, of course, we see Obi-Wan and Anakin in the elevator, and they're giggling and having fun, and Obi-Wan's telling Anakin to relax, as Anakin's super nervous to see Padme after all these years. And third and final, we have Revenge of the Sith, which is my favorite opening of these 3, as well as possibly my favorite Star Wars movie and Star Wars opening ever. So I imagine that this scene was going to be even more epic, as I heard the original battle scene went over for an hour long, but we see a view of the Republic cruisers flying over the droid separatists, and then we see Obi-Wan and Anakin's starships come through. This opening is very suspenseful, very fun, great action, and I think it was done well, even though it could have been even longer. But I know another thing we see is the sacrifice of R4, who's Obi-Wan's astromech droid, although in the original trilogy, which is, I guess, just a plot hole and just an inconvenience, because when you go back and make prequel movies, of course, things are not going to be perfect compared to the originals, but R4 ends up dying, or at least being deactivated from the buzz droids, and R2 kicks off the buzz droids and fights them, and Obi-Wan gives R2 advice to zap the buzz droid's center eye, which I think is great advice for life, that if you're ever attacked by buzz droids, have your astromech shoot the buzz droid in the middle eye. But I think for Revenge of the Sith, and I didn't even mention that I'm wearing a cool Star Wars shirt right now, but I think Anakin said it best in this episode at this opening scene, where he quoted, "This is where the fun begins," because this was definitely where the fun begins for this movie, and I love the movie, so excited to see its release in theaters soon. So I'll be talking about the Star Wars sequels as well as the Star Wars spin-off opening scenes in the next vlog, but until then, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more soon. Goodbye.